Los Santos. City of saints, sinners, and the sleepless. I want to talk about my experience with GTA Online. I've sunk almost 700 hours into it, and here's some stuff that I have to share. I got the game free off of the Epic Game Store in May 2020, which was really cool by the way. I got most of my friends to claim it too. Sometime in January 2021, me and my friend Mish, we downloaded the game and started playing. And as soon as we got into the same multiplayer session, I was already hooked. Just being able to be there with your friend, doing whatever you want in GTA, with a lot of other people in the same world, it felt like a pristine form of escapism. I already knew it was gonna be one of my favorite games. GTA Online is an amazing experience if you know what you're getting into, but otherwise, it's a flawed online system. The game is now 8 years old. By game release times, that's pretty old. And it's still being bought and played and continues to bring in revenue for the publisher. How? With a regular inflow of new content, and only for online. Every few months, they bring out a big free DLC which might include new highs, businesses, game modes, new vehicles and other stuff. On top of that, every week there's a weekly update with smaller changes like discounts on cars and property, extra rewards on some activities, time trials and more. There is also player created content like custom races, maps, etc. This is all great news for players, but the question that brings forth all the interesting answers is why? Why do they continue to support an 8-year-old game? Because Shark Cards. Shark Cards are GTA's form of microtransactions that basically exchange real world money for GTA dollars. It's a really shitty value, but it does give players a fast track way to getting rich in GTA if they so choose. What makes it a problem is how imbalanced the game is to encourage the purchase of these microtransactions. Your experience in the game is directly tied to how much money you have. Especially in the early game, when players are starting out, progressing in the game feels a lot like a day job because you're just repeating the same missions over and over again until you have enough to get the office or a business or whatever the next goal is. Without the right weapons, vehicles and stuff, all obtained with money, you're going to be constantly pestered by assholes with better stuff than you, killing you with flying motorcycles that shoot missiles, griefing your cargo, and just in general being dicks. And they don't have any consequences for this. In fact, destroying other players' cargo is encouraged by literally giving them a goal to steal or destroy cargo for their own organization. Griefing is indirectly encouraged just by having a kill death counter, which makes people wanna kill random people just to see their numbers go up. The morality of a system that forces a young audience into paying for microtransactions to enjoy a game is, well, it's Rockstar's problem, not mine. But you know what is my problem? Network and security issues. The network component of the game works on this weird hybrid of a peer-to-peer network and connecting to Rockstar servers for friends, matchmaking, transactions and stuff. But the gameplay itself runs on the client side of all the players in the session, managing the world according to the area of the map the player is in. I still don't really know how it works or if any other games use a system like this, but I can say for sure it's a messy system and probably hard to get right. And maybe it's just Rockstar's implementation, but in GTA it kinda sucks. In an online session you can have a maximum of 30 players, which rarely ever happens as people are always getting disconnected. When you're in an area by yourself, the gameplay is really smooth and that's where the peer-to-peer system works best. But as soon as you enter the vicinity of other players, Vehicles pop in and out as you move through the world. Your gunshots don't register sometimes. You get shot in other players' games, and just in general, the amount of jang makes it very difficult to play. The thing is, even with you having a great connection, the problems cannot be fixed. Disconnects and dropouts are common, and completing heists with other players is basically repetition until the one time no one drops out before it ends. Most sessions are always filled with spammers bogging the chat, and there isn't a proper way to choose the region in which your session is located, which often lands me in Chinese lobbies. This all results in an online game that works smoothest when played alone. All of this I could have brushed aside as just being part of the game. But you know what's not a part of it? Modders. Since each player's game is managed by their own client, there isn't much keeping them from changing their instance of the game, and thereby changing everyone's just as easily. I'm sure there's a very active community creating and distributing mod menus, because it's not hard to find players using them. Modders can spawn whatever assets they want. If they're feeling generous, they can constantly spawn money bags on a player. But if they're not, they can also do the same with a flame parented to your ass, shooting you into the air and killing you over and over. I've seen them spawn any vehicle with any upgrades, buildings and cages around players to trap them, submarines stacked up in the middle of the city. I've seen in a video a modder who had spawned a low poly version of the map upside down in the sky with a huge sphere in the center of the map, turned off NPC spawning, and disabled hardened weapons of every player in the session. Yeah, they can get really creative with it. And to be honest, it can be kinda fun. Since I don't take it all that seriously, seeing that kind of thing just puts me in awe. And if it is annoying, I can restart the game. Hopefully they don't follow me into a new session. But it can be extremely frustrating to the grinders just trying to make money and progress in the game. Mod menus are a nuisance in-game, but it gets far more serious than that. The users of these mods also have access to the network part of the game and can extract critical information like player identifiers and, most importantly, IP addresses. From there, there's no limit to the ways they can mess with someone. They can find any player in the game, follow them in the sessions they join, crash their game, and do so much more. I know friends who have quit playing because of modders that kept stalking them and harassing them in game. Dedicated bad actors can attack your game, your router, or expose your information publicly, which YouTubers especially are often the targets of. So basically, playing the game without a VPN or something actively puts you at risk of cybercrimes. That is hardly acceptable for a AAA game that has an active player base of hundreds of thousands of players and rakes in literal billions of dollars for the publisher. And if you think it's just a residual technical limitation from 2014, nope. This is more or less the same system in use in Red Dead Online, released in 2019. And guess what? That game has these exact problems. So clearly they're just too lazy to come up with a better solution even for the newer games. I'm sure Rockstar saved a shit ton of money not running dedicated servers for their games. I'm willing to bet not much of it is going into GTA 6. GTA 5 is a hallmark of open world games in the 2010s, I think we can all agree. I completed the campaign of GTA 5 a long time ago, but after that, I never went back to it. The mechanics and the world is so well crafted, but after the story is over, there wasn't any incentive for me to continue playing. That's where online fixes the single player game's shortcomings. Adding a social element changes so much about the game's objective. Now that there's other players to share your game world with, there's always reason to do more stuff. More cars to collect, more money to earn, more stuff to buy, and importantly, more friends to play with. Even after all this time, I still haven't completed all the main heists in the game, because there's more fun to be had just messing around with people in the open world. I started playing in lockdown after I had basically given up on online classes, so I was free a lot. Hence, I played without much limits. I played it day in, day out, with barely enough time for food, the bathroom, and sleep. And looking back, I enjoyed every bit of it. Even today, I still do. I've had a lot of fun just playing the game, driving around, messing with people, and making friends. Joining people on missions or heists, having to work together, having higher level players help you when you are a low level, and you doing the same as you rank up. Buying and customizing vehicles, showing off your garages to others, waiting for the weekly updates to see what's on sale, spending hours on cell lobbies helping others with their cargo, and others helping you. These things never feel forced, and it's always the freedom that the game enables that brings people together. That's what makes the game so rewarding, and it's what keeps me coming back. The game uses its systems to manipulate you into wanting more power in the game world. It's almost like real life, really. And just like in real life, you still have the freedom to pick your priorities. You could be a KD warrior, or you could just play to have fun with friends. If you ask me, with friends is the best way to experience the game. The social platform that the game provides is one of the greatest things about the game. It's a place where you can do what you enjoy, meet people who enjoy the same things, and be yourself without fear of being judged. And for an introverted kid like me, that kind of platform is invaluable. There is a shit ton of issues and problems that the community face, but just the fact that the game still has one of the most active communities of players shows that underneath all the shady shit of the company behind it and the broken state of its online lies the best put together open world sandbox game in the last couple years. And sharing it with friends is honestly always a pleasure. It's like an MMO, but with all the flair of an open world action game. I'm really looking forward to GTA 6, and with it, a new GTA Online, even better than this one, hopefully. Probably gonna be very old before it releases, but hey, if it's anything like this GTA Online, it might just be worth it.
Man. Oh